So welcome to our Move, Breathe, Relaxation practice. So tonight is going to be a sumptuously gentle practice. And you have my full permission to prop yourself up on as many blankets, cushions, pillows as you need to allow the body to feel fully comfortable. We will do some asana, posture work. Then we'll do some pranayama, some breath work. And then we'll move into our extended relaxation towards the end. Before we come fully into our relaxation, we'll just tap back into a little bit more pranayama, so breath work, and I'll talk you through that this evening, okay? So let's come to our comfortable seat, and you can start wherever you like in your room, whether you're raised up high or down low. If you like to prop up your knees on cushions either side, then do that so that the hips can fall gently open. If you're sitting stacked on cushions, that's fine. Raising the hips can help us to sit more comfortably, just however feels right for you. Okay, I'm going to switch across of my shins. And we're going to allow those pelvises to tilt slightly forwards. And we're going to start to get long through the spine and through the crown of the head. Turn those palms up to receive or down to relax. Lengthening, drawing in, feeling nice and stable through the seat. Allow those shoulders to soften away from the ears and then soften down the eyes or even close them as we bring the attention to the breath. So we're tuning in here, getting orientated, ready for class. And start to lengthen and deepen that breath in and out through the nose if you can, but without forcing it, just gently lengthening, gently smoothing out the breath. And as we sit here, tuning in, get into the body, travel in and out with the breath. Yoga, Chitta, Vritta, Nirodha. So yoga ceasing the fluctuations of the mind. And the mind and the body are not distinct entities, but one integrated, harmonious whole. And that is the point of our practice, is to harmonize and integrate all body systems, all body-mind systems, including the energies, so that we can return to our natural sattvic state. And it's more of an emerging rather than a returning to. It's an emergence of. So all those layers, all those sheaths of reality of existence, or reality as we perceive it. It's a bit of a conspiracy actually. Reality is believed to only be reality because other people agree that it's so. Let's not go down that particular wormhole, but it's a thought. And just allowing those sheaths to gently dissolve until that natural state emerges. So welcome to our Sunday medicine. Lengthening that breath. And just feel the rise and the fall of the chest. And if you can feel that subtle energy in the collarbones as well, so as the chest rises, can you feel a subtle energy in the collarbones as they spread a little more broadly on the inhale? We'll be returning to this later, just before our guided relaxation towards the end of class. Good, and setting our intention for our practice, whether the intention is, as the class is named, whether it's to simply move, breathe and relax, or whether there's something else you'd like to add it in now. And soften those fingers, remembering those fingertips as an expression of the quality of the mind, as we gently release and bring those palms to press in Anjali Mudra, at the heart center, mudra of reverence for our practice this evening. Okay, so we're going to begin straight away with some gentle spinal twists. So we're going to start by lengthening through the sides of the body though. So feel free to, if you are cross-legged, to switch across of the shins. Bring those fingertips to earth, either side of the body, as we roll those shoulders back so they are over and above those hips. Draw that tummy in. And then we're going to inhale, reaching through those fingertips up towards the sky. And as we do, try to avoid lifting the energy up and instead stabilize through the pelvis as we then lengthen through those fingertips, drawing that tummy and rib cage in. Lengthen through the crown of the head and inflate that chest, glow like the evening sun. And then we're going to exhale, press the heels of the palms out towards the side of the room. Lengthen through those palms of the hands, drop those shoulders away from the ears. And then from here we're going to come straight over towards the right hand side. So bring that left palm across the body, reach for right thigh. And if you can, we're going to sweep that right palm all the way around, keeping that tailbone tucking. And we're going to see if we can reach for that left hip with the back of the right hand. Draw those shoulders down away from the ears, draw the tummy in, twist from that belly, then the chest, then the shoulders, all the way over towards the right, and drop that right shoulder down, away from the right ear, as we lengthen through the crown of the head. If that right palm doesn't come all the way to the left hip, doesn't matter, just reach for whatever you can, or even just reach for the floor behind you, taking it into a more gentle twist, whatever works for you. And then we're going to bring that chin back over towards the left shoulder, and then drop that left ear towards the left shoulder and lengthen through the right side of the neck. Right side of the neck. Keep that tummy drawn in, length through the spine. Try to avoid curling over towards the side. Keep the spine nicely upright. And then exhale, return that head back to neutral. And we're going to unwind. And we're going to take a second deep breath in. So earth through those fingertips, drop those shoulders away, press that heart forwards, broaden across, smiling collarbones here. And then inhale, sweep those palms high. Again, grounding down through the seat, draw the tummy in, wrap those ribs around the belly. So we lengthen through the fingertips. Deep inhale, inflating the chest, the heart, expanding through the ribs, and then exhale, sweep those palms out, press through the heels of the hands, drop those shoulders away. Press, 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 creating space for the shoulder blades, and then sweeping those palms over towards the left-hand side. Right palm comes to left thigh, and then left fingertips can reach for the floor behind, or sweep it all the way around, reaching for that right hip. Drop the shoulders, twisting from belly, chest, and then shoulders. Drop those shoulders away from the ears and lengthen through the crown of the head. So head nicely balanced at the top of the spine here. As we draw that tummy in, let's get some twist and lift through the heart. And then as we're ready, we're going to exhale and bring that chin over towards the right shoulder, and then lower right ear towards right shoulder as we drop that right shoulder still further away, creating a little extra space for the chest here. And hold. Good, and then inhale as bring that head back up to balance. We're going to unwind, and then from here I'll just turn sideways so that you can see. I'd suggest switching up the cross of the shins as we take some sitting cat-cow tilts. So this can equally work on the knees if that feels more comfortable, and you can do this from your sofa as well, so you can just mobilise that spine from a sitting position higher up. So take whatever option feels right for you, and we're going to bring those fingers down towards the knees, whether sitting on the sofa or on the floor. Roll those shoulders away and press that heart forwards and get a nice arch through that low spine here. Go carefully if you are nursing a low back injury, only press that heart forward comfortably and keep the belly quite strong as you press that heart forwards and roll those shoulders gently away from the ears, bringing those elbows in towards the side waist here as you press that heart forwards. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rounding from the tailbone again, moving smoothly, gently and mindfully as you curl that tailbone towards the front of the room. Draw the tummy in and drop the chest. Drop the chin even towards the chest. Inhale, gently moving slowly as you press that heart forwards, release those shoulders. Gentle arch in the spine, length through the back of the head, elbows press in gently. And then exhale, curling from the tailbone, drop that chin towards chest, navel in towards spine, shoulders round. And then again, we'll do a few more moving with our own breath and with our own mobility. So inhale is to open and lengthen, and then exhale is to round the spine. Keep that going a few more times, moving gently. See if you can keep it a smooth, fluid motion rather than jerky at all. So keep it nice and smooth, stacking those vertebrae and curling those vertebrae, increasing and decreasing that space, squeezing and nourishing those vertebral discs. And moving with that breath. And then exhale, come to a neutral spine. Okay, so from here we're going to come onto the knees, or if this is more comfortable and you prefer not to come onto the knees, stay in cross-legged position. And now we're going to take it into a couple of side stretches before we bring it onto the floor and start to open up the hips. So if you've got sore knees, but if you're happy to kneel, then I'd recommend Bringing a blanket underneath the knees, bring those knees together. And we're going to sit back on those heels. In fact, I'll just turn and face you. Sit back on those heels, and we're going to take this into a nice side stretch, but we're going to lengthen through the side waist first. So we're going to inhale and sweep those arms up, tucking that tailbone in towards the spine. Interlace those fingertips, press the palms up towards the sky. Lengthen through the side waist, and then exhale, we're going to reach that right palm towards the floor as we turn those left fingertips towards the sky, palm faces towards the right side of the room, and we're going to lengthen through the side waist as we tuck that right elbow in towards the right side of the body. Keep the tummy drawn in, lengthen through those left fingertips, and maybe shift those hips if that feels comfortable on the knees. Shift those hips off towards the left hand side, sink those hip points down heavily, and then lengthen through those fingers so you've got that counter stretch going through the fingers and through the weight of the hips as well. Exhale, releasing, getting earth through the ground. Draw that tummy in. Inhale, reaching those palms high, interlace fingers, turn them up towards the sky. Get tall, draw the tummy in, and then exhale, opening over towards the left hand side. Turning those right fingertips till they're facing up, palm across the room, and then gently lengthening over towards the left hand side, pressing through that heart up towards the sky, and maybe shifting those hips over towards the right hand side, just off to the right a little as you sink through those hips and lengthen through those right fingertips. Inhale, lift and lengthen, and then exhale, softly sweep back towards center. Okay, from here we're going to shift onto the right hand side, sweep those feet out towards the side of the room, and we're going to come onto our backs for a little bit of hip opening and a little bit of an IT band stretch and a little bit of a helping hand for any sciatic issues that we might be having at the moment in that low back and buttock, into the buttock and down the legs. So from here, bring those knees to bend and walk those heels in, untuck the flesh, nice straight line from the back of the neck out from the tailbone, and we're going to walk those heels in and cross that right ankle behind the left knee and gently press that right knee towards the front of the room as you draw those right toes up towards the sky. Now this might feel quite lovely enough with the palms open towards the side of the room. Release those shoulders away. Otherwise you might need a little bit more, in which case keep those toes, those right toes pointing up. Reach behind that left thigh, interlace those fingers and start to draw those legs in towards the body and point those left toes up as well as the right toes up towards the sky. Keep using the muscles of that right thigh to open that right knee towards the front of the room, and you'll feel that hip point sort of spin down towards the mat, and see if you can lengthen the tailbone towards the floor and press length through every part of the back from the low, mid to upper back if you can. And that's option 2. Option 3 is to extend through that left ankle as well, extend through that left heel and draw those thighs in towards the body. It might be that you can reach behind the calf muscles and just sort of bring those right toes around that left forearm as you bring that calf in towards the body, that left shin in towards the body. Keep those toes pointing up. Keep pressing that right knee towards the front of the room. I'm going to hold here as we rest those shoulders down away from the ears. It might be the case that even this isn't enough, in which case you can take an extra option of lowering that left foot to the floor, bring that right foot into the crook of the left elbow, hug that right elbow around right knee, interlace those fingertips at the side of that right shin, and hug that knee in towards the spine, maybe even lengthening through those left toes, that left heel, towards the front of the mat. It might be that you also gently rock a little in the hip. Please don't do this if the hips are at all sore. This is only if you are not really feeling the stretch in those other asanas or postures, okay? So gently rocking through that hip if you're taking this extra option. Otherwise, you might have the leg extended or might be just reaching behind those thighs and just enjoying that stretch here. From here, we're going to turn over towards the left with those feet. So bring that right foot to the floor towards the left. Open those shoulders up towards the right-hand side and look over towards that right shoulder. By planting that right foot on the floor and drawing that heel up the thigh, you get a deeper stretch in that hip and across the buttock and into the IT band on that side. So again, you can walk that foot further away, or it might be that actually the foot doesn't come to the floor, but you just gently start to lower the foot towards that direction. It might be that you prefer to just stack the knees and take that option as well. So take whatever feels comfortable in your body, honouring today's body. Looking over towards that right shoulder. And then exhale back through center. Release that right foot alongside left. And we're going to practice that same thing on the other side. So walk those palms alongside the body. Begin with option 1. Crossing that left ankle behind right knee. And maybe staying here, walking that right heel in towards the body, pressing that left knee towards the front of the room, left toes point up. Otherwise, option 2, draw that right thigh in towards the chest, hook those fingertips behind the thigh, point those right toes up towards the sky, and hug those knees in towards the chest until you feel that stretch in that left buttock into that low spine here. All of the toes pointing up, shoulders away from the ears, back is nice and straight and flat against the floor. Extra option here is to kick that right heel up towards the sky and imagine a perfect footprint forming on the ceiling through that right foot. Maybe reaching for that calf muscle and bringing those left toes onto the right forearm. That's an extra option for you, but keep pressing through that left knee as well to continue stretching into that low glute muscle as well. And holding here. For that extra option, if you'd like it, you can lower that right foot towards the floor. Hug that left foot in the crook of the right elbow. Left elbow wraps around left knee. Draw that heel in towards the chest. Keep those toes pointing up and gently rock in that hip. Okay, this might be a stretch too far. It's very early into our practice, but feel free to take that option if that's what you feel like. Maybe even extending through that right heel, pointing those right toes up towards the floor if you'd like to. And then as we're ready, we're going to exhale, walk that right foot back in if we're not already there. Release that left ankle behind the right knee and bring those toes across towards the right side as we open up towards the left side. And again, it might just be that you stack the knees, maybe even putting a cushion between the knees to keep that distance for the hips if that's more comfortable. Sometimes closing those knees together in a side position can be uncomfortable on the hips. So by all means, pop a couple of pillows between those knees if you'd like to. Otherwise, left ankle behind right knee, looking out over left shoulders. And just enjoy that stretch. And again, remember you can walk that heel, that left heel further up the thigh. See if you can press through that foot and keep pressing that left knee out towards the front of the room if you can. Good. And then exhale, softly release back through center, and we're going to take happy baby. So several options here. You can either reach for the thighs and draw those knees open, or you can reach for the knees, same thing, and draw those toes back just to get a little bit of firming going into the calf muscles and protecting those knees. Otherwise, option 3 is to reach for the outside edges of the feet, lift them up, and then draw those knees in towards the armpits and lengthen the tailbone towards the floor. Now you can stay here in what we call stirrup or dead bug pose, or you can gently rock a little from side to side and take that happy baby option, getting happy hips. That's what we want, happy hips. Gently moving from side to side. Good. And then from here we're going to lengthen both feet up towards the sky, stretch through the heels, and then gently using those tummy muscles we're going to lower those heels towards the floor. From here we're going to roll onto our left side or towards the screen, so whichever side that is, if you roll towards the screen. We're going to prop ourselves up on our left forearm, or whichever forearm is at the bottom here. And then if you're able to, we're going to start to walk that right foot up towards the body. Maybe reach for the outside of that right foot and slowly start to lengthen that heel up towards the sky. Draw the tummy in, the tailbone towards that back heel, and draw that right shoulder away from the ears. It might be that the knee is just bent and you're lifting through the chest here. That's perfectly fine. And you can maybe slowly start to work that leg to straight. It doesn't matter if you're not there at all. Just getting into those hips and then gently getting into those calf muscles and keeping that tummy drawn in strongly. Exhale, we're going to bring that right foot in front of us, place it on the floor, bring both fingertips towards the floor, press through that foot and gently twist just a little, just enough, over towards the opposite side of the mat. So I'm turning towards my left. I don't know where you're at, but turning over towards the opposite side to that bent knee. And then gently, softly lower back onto those forearms. I'm going to take that same thing on the other side. So either swing round softly to the other side. Otherwise, you can just turn and face the other way. So lowering onto that right forearm now, or the opposite forearm, and stacking those ankles. Tuck that tailbone towards the heels, draw the tummy in. See if you can get a little bit of lift through the side of the waist here, and then slowly start to draw that left knee in towards the chest, and then gently take the toes or the thigh or the calf and gently start to stretch that heel up towards the sky and drop that left shoulder away from the ears, keeping that tummy drawn in. Just for a breath here, keep pressing through that right shoulder, lifting out, and then exhale, bring that left foot in front. Just gently, it doesn't matter if it's just in front of the right ankle, doesn't matter at all. And then gently, so I'll show you that modification, then gently just turning over towards the opposite side, pressing through that bottom heel, lifting through the chest. Take an inhale here. And then we're going to exhale and come all the way onto our tummies. So rolling with the flow, going with the flow on that side and coming onto our tummies. Lengthen through both feet, lower onto the belly here, and we're going to walk those fingertips out towards the side of the room. Planting through those palms with nice broad fingertips, we're then going to draw those palms in alongside the low ribs and rest on the chin for a moment. Then we're going to take a couple of twisting cobras. So we're going to, on an inhale, we're going to look over that right shoulder towards the left heel. Exhale, lower down. Then it'll be inhale, look over left shoulder towards right heel. Exhale, low down. And then up through center. Okay, so I'll show you that now and then we can join in together. So palms alongside the low ribs, tucking that tailbone, drawing up on the pelvic floor muscles. Inhale, pressing through those palms, looking over that right shoulder. Elbows can be bent a little or a lot depending how you're feeling. And then exhale, softly lower down. Inhale, we'll come up and look over left shoulder. Again, bend a lot or a little into those elbows. Exhale, we'll low down. And then inhale, we'll come straight up through center. And then exhale, low down. We're going to practice that twice, okay? So palms alongside the low waist. Hug those elbows in. Press through the tops of those feet. Tuck that tailbone. Take an inhale and gently press through the palms. And gently look over those right shoulders towards that left heel if you can. And again, you might just lift that head and chest and just turn the head over towards the right. That's perfectly fine. And then exhale, lower onto the chin. Inhale, press through palms, tuck the tailbone, look over left shoulder towards right heel if that's available. And then exhale, softly low down. Inhale, press through the palms. Roll that head out through the shoulders as we look straight ahead. And then exhale, low down. Over towards the right again, last time. Inhale, look over right shoulder. Exhale, low down. Softly does it, softly does it. Inhale, left shoulder. Exhale, low down. So we're strengthening those low back muscles as well, which helps us in sitting. And inhale, lift and lengthen through the front. And again, hug those elbows in. You can be lifting a little or a lot, it doesn't really matter. And then exhale, softly low down. We're going to tuck the toes now, and we're going to push back into a lovely, wide-kneed child's pose. So again, if you've got your blanket, good idea to have it underneath the knees. And you can walk the knees nice and wide, sinking those hips towards the heels. And if you've got a cushion, you might want to pop it underneath the bottom. We're just going to relieve any tension in that low back as we bring those hips towards the heels and lengthen through the fingertips. Forehead rests between the arms, resting down. Soften those shoulders away from the ears. Soften through the belly, no need to hold on there. Resting through those forearms, fingertips are nicely unfurled, softly resting on your mat. Resting on the tops of the feet, the heels are soft. Belly soft, chest sinks towards the floor. Feel that neck releasing and softening, so letting go of any tension in the neck. And then maybe with the forehead pressing through the mat, maybe just gently roll your head from side to side, massaging that forehead, that third eye, the Agya Mudra, or that Agya chakra even. Just gently massaging the forehead, between the brow, above the brows, almost into the temples. And then inhale and softly come up. We're going to take a couple of leg stretches before we come into our pranayama or breath work practice. Okay, so releasing any cushions from underneath the bottom and instead bringing it back onto your mat to sit on, or you can sit on the edge of your blanket, or not at all if that feels more comfortable. So taking whatever option feels comfortable for you. We're going to come to sitting, and we're going to bring that left heel in towards the body gently, and we're going to bring that left foot out in front of us. Okay, so right knee lowers out towards the side, and this is a good opportunity to pop a cushion underneath that knee so it can just rest really nicely out towards the side there. Straighten out through those left toes, point those toes up towards the sky. Get nice and comfortable through the sit bones here. And we're going to inhale and sweep those palms softly high. Get gentle length through the sides of the waist. And then we're going to exhale, hinging from the hips. Gently, softly does it. We're going to lengthen over those shins, over those thighs. Soften those fingertips towards the floor. You don't have to reach all the way forwards. You just allow the fingertips to land where they lay comfortably. And also pay attention to the space in the shoulders here. So it might be that you broaden out the palms to create a little bit extra space for the shoulders as you soften the body towards the toes. But keep the toes active in this posture just tonight to protect that left knee as we soften over that shin. I'll just turn sideways so that you can see. So softening from that pelvis, so bring that pelvis forward, the heart presses forward, softening over that front shin and thigh. And I'm reaching too far here, so I'm just going to allow my fingers to trail back until my heart can feel like it's pressing forwards. My heart is open, my collarbones are quite happy, my shoulders are soft, and I can lengthen towards the shin, the thigh, without overexerting and overburdening that low back. We can allow that chin to tuck in towards the chest. Allow that head to dangle, just introverting ourselves for a moment or two. And maybe even turn the palms up to soften that pose even more. And then maybe we can now soften to those left toes, so soften those toes away. So rather than having them active, flexed in towards the body, we can now soften those left toes. And maybe we'll soften a little bit more deeply into the stretch. Remember, you can keep a micro bend in that left knee. You might even want to pop a little rolled up blanket or a towel underneath that knee. That's one to think about for the other side when we do it. But always just moving with your body's own range of movement. Just nourishing and honouring your body as it is today, as it finds you today. And then as we're ready, inhale, walk those fingertips back towards the body. Sit nice and tall, bring those palms behind you, fingertips point in towards the body. Press that heart forwards and lengthen through the crown of the head gently. From the tailbone up, squeeze those shoulders in, tummy draws in, and then exhale, coming all the way back up onto those fingertips. And we're going to switch to the other side. So lengthen through that right foot now, maybe give those legs a little shake. Maybe that right leg feels a little bit sort of tight, so we're going to loosen that up now. Then we're going to draw those left heels in towards the body, only so far as feels comfortable. It can be just halfway down the length of the shin if that feels more comfortable, or all the way in towards the groin. Again, prop your left knee up on a cushion, just to allow it to soften open towards the sides, or not, depending on what feels comfortable for you. Have that right leg straight out, extended in front of you, so not off at an angle at all. And we're going to begin with the toes drawn back, sit nice and tall, and softly reach for the sky with the palms facing, soften through the fingers, because we're softening to the bone here. And then exhale, hinging from those hips. And at the moment you start to feel it tug, then start to lower those fingertips down towards the ground. And again, avoid overreaching, just draw those fingertips softly back, maybe broaden them out towards the side, as you lengthen over that right thigh, pressing through that heel. And again, remember, you can keep a micro bend in that right knee for comfort. Just want a gentle stretch. We're teasing out those hamstrings muscles as we lengthen out over the shin. Good, and hold here. And then as you're ready, we're going to soften through those right toes, so allow those toes to release towards the front of the room. And maybe you'll get a little bit more comfortably into that posture. Maybe turn the palms up. Release those shoulders away from the ears. Maybe that chin comes in towards the chest. You practice pratyahara, or withdrawal of the senses, withdrawing in momentarily. Softly does it. Janushirasana. And then as we're ready, inhale, softly come up. Walk those fingertips behind the body, point them in towards you. Walk those palms in towards center, press through that heart, lift and lengthen through the crown of the head. Draw those shoulder blades in towards center. And then exhale, come onto the fingertips, so press through, stretching through those fingers, and then come all the way up to sitting. Okay, so we're going to practice our pranayama breath work now for a few minutes before we come down for our extended, beautiful relaxation, okay? So hopefully the body's feeling a little bit more open now. We've opened up the hips, and we're going to come into comfortable sitting. So for pranayama breath practice, it's quite meditative, so you don't have to sit on the floor again. You can return to your sofa if that's more comfortable for you. And just rest gently with the feet on the floor, softening through the toes. Otherwise, come into the edge of your cushion or blanket, soften those knees out towards the side. This is a really good opportunity again to prop up those knees just for a little extra comfort, really. So bring those in underneath the knees. This is quite a nice one as well. You can also bring a blanket to over the top of that left thigh and bring from the hip that right heel in towards the groin and soften that right knee towards the floor. But if that torques the knee or hurts the knee at all, then skip that one and just go for that one shin crossed in front of the other with those knees propped up beautifully. Okay, good. So coming into our comfortable seats, and we're going to practice our Nadi Shodhana, which is our channel cleansing breath. So there are lots of different types of pranayama practice, and we'll come into those in different sessions. But for this practice, which is a very sort of Ida focused practice, a very feminine, cooling, soothing sort of practice, what we want is a balancing breath, and that's what Nadi Shodhana does. And we're going to practice its baby brother or baby sister called Anulom Vilom. Okay, so we're going to take our chin mudra, which is the left palm facing up in the lap, and squaring off those shoulders so the shoulders are nicely balanced. And it's an alternating nostril breath. Okay, so one full round of breath is when we breathe in through one nostril, hold the breath, out through the opposite nostril, in through that nostril, hold the breath in, and then breathe out through the opposite nostril. That is one round of breath. And we're going to practice between 5 and 8 of these depending on time and how we're feeling in the body. So another thing to watch out for a little contraindication, although this is a very safe one to practice, is if you feel a bit dizzy or lightheaded, stop immediately. And don't overexert the breath, don't push the breath. You want to gently, smoothly inhale and gently, smoothly exhale. I like to liken this to smelling the fragrance of a flower. If we sort of smell too hard, actually it distorts the fragrance as it enters into the body. So what we want is to imagine that gentle drawing in of the breath. If there are any sort of bats in the cave as well, try to breathe around those, okay, without forcing it, and just start to be with the breath. So any discomfort that might be in the nasal passages, anything that your attention is drawn to, try to just be with that in the moment and work with it, okay? So we're going to begin by working out where the flow is in the body. So at any one time, there is a dominant nostril, believe it or not, and that relates to the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So left side is related to the parasympathetic nervous system, and the other side is related to physical activity. So let's see, by bringing that right palm underneath the nostril, take a deep breath in through the nose, and then gently, smoothly exhale through the nose, and see if there is a dominant nostril, okay? There is another technique that we're going to practice called Padad Hirsasana. I believe it's called Padad Hirsasana, which is another thing I'll show you which equalises the breath, and we'll do that right at the end of our Nadi Shodhana, okay? Or Anulom Vilom. So chin mudra, left palm faces up in the lap. We're going to bring that right palm in front, or your dominant hand in front of the body, and lower the first 2 fingers and press them gently in between the brow. We're going to start by sealing off that right nostril with the thumb. I'm going to take a deep breath in through the left nostril for a count of 5. Okay? On the count of 5, we'll seal that nostril with the last 2 fingers. We'll hold for a count of 3, then open that right nostril to release the breath for 5. So 5, 3, 5 this evening we'll go for, okay? So closing off that right nostril, first 2 fingers at the brow, opening up that left nostril, and off we go. Sit nice and tall, try to avoid curling over. We're going to take a nice slow inhale through that left nostril for a count of 5. Off we go. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and seal that left nostril. We're going to hold for 3, 2, 1. Open the thumb and breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And back in through that right nostril for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close off that right nostril, hold for 3, 2, 1. Open that left nostril and breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that was 1 round of breath. Here we go again. We're going to inhale back in through that left nostril slowly for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And close that left nostril for 3, 2, 1. Out through the right for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And inhale Purak for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And seal that nostril for Antar Kumbhaka, internal retention, for 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the left nostril, Rechaka, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in again, moving with your own breath count now. So in for 5, hold for 3, out for 5, a couple more rounds in your own time. Keeping that spine nice and tall. Keeping your resting palm nice and soft in your lap. Maybe close the eyes if you haven't already. Savouring that breath. And on your last exhale, just drop that right palm alongside left, tuck the chin. And return to that natural breath. So anulom vilom, so we're purifying the blood, calming the mind, removing anxieties and stress, balancing the hormones, and ultimately improving our concentration. And then inhale. Bring that head to balance on a lovely, nice inhale, sitting back upright, facing this way. Okay, so it is now time to come down to our relaxation. So hopefully you're feeling a little more balanced. a little bit more cleansed, detoxified, more harmonized. And we're going to come to resting on the floor. So this is where you really, really, really get to luxuriate, okay? So blankets, cushions. So a couple of suggestions for you would be pillows underneath the tops of the arms, rolling those palms open, supporting the length of the arms so that the shoulders can rest beautifully and gloriously alongside the body. I'd recommend rolling up your blanket Swiss roll style and placing it behind the knees. Certainly a cushion behind the head. And maybe even if you'd like to, you might even want to put your ankles up on the nearest sofa. So if you suffer from sort of water retention in the ankles, any puffiness around the ankles, you can take a Viparita Karani legs up the wall option for this last practice. We're going to be there for some time. This is our extended relaxation practice. So obviously if the legs start to really lose all sensation, it becomes uncomfortable, then just gently shifting yourself up the mat, lowering those feet towards the floor and coming into your Shavasana, okay? So taking any option that you need to feel comfortable. We are going to just practice a little bit more breath work on our backs before we finally sink into our relaxation. So getting yourselves really comfortable. I'm going to dim the lights my end just to change the ambiance a little to a even more relaxed one. If you'd like a drink, now's a good opportunity to reach for one. Only a couple of sips should do it, otherwise you'll be gurgling. And then coming to rest comfortably on the floor. Okay, so once there, once comfortable, close the eyes. Allow those shoulders to move down away from the ears. And we're going to practice a little clavicular breathing, okay? So in your Shavasana, you're going to relax the whole body. Relaxing the whole broad body with the breath. Maintaining a sort of unbroken awareness of the breath, of the natural breath. And then I'd like you to start to concentrate on the sides of the chest. So breathing into the chest, so chest breathing. Okay, so you'll feel that area just below the chest in that upper rib cage. Breathing into that upper to mid chest area for a few moments. And as you inhale fully, you'll feel that rib cage expanding and the tummy will drop in towards the spine. When the ribs are fully expanded though, I'd like you to inhale a little bit more until you can feel a gentle, subtle expansion in the upper portion of the lungs and around the base of the neck. The shoulders and the collarbone might even move up a little. And this will take a little effort. And again, if you feel lightheaded or dizzy at all, just return to your natural breath and you can always join us again. So filling up in the chest, fill up a little bit more into the collarbone, the shoulders. And then as you exhale, exhale slowly. First releasing the lower neck, the upper chest, and then relaxing the rest of the rib cage back to its starting position. And then continue for a few more breaths, observing the effect of this type of breathing. So, inhaling, fully expanding the rib cage. When the ribs are fully expanded, inhale a little more until you feel a little more expansion in the upper lungs, the base of the neck, the shoulders, and even the collarbones will lift slightly. Then as you exhale, slowly releasing in reverse order from the neck, the shoulders, the collarbone, relaxing the rest of the rib cage back to its start position. I'm going to practice this one more time. So a deep thoracic breath into the chest, expanding that rib cage fully, and then push it a little bit more, inhale a little bit more, so you feel that expansion in the neck, the lungs, the shoulders, the collarbone, and then slowly exhaling, releasing in reverse order, back to your starting position. And now relaxing any efforts around the breath. And notice the spontaneity and the spontaneous pattern of the breath. Bringing that awareness back now to observing the physical body as a whole. And this is a good one for practicing in situations where there's high stress or anger, or even for calming the nerves. And this will, if you include this in a daily yoga practice, it can correct and deepen our natural breathing patterns. Good, and then relaxing completely now into your natural breath, ready for your guided meditation. And then for this evening's meditation, we're going to practice Vipassana, or a sort of loving kindness variation, which is a Buddhist guided meditation script. So with the eyes closed, begin to think thoughts of goodwill. Start to send these thoughts of goodwill first to yourself. Try to cultivate a sincere desire for your own happiness. For if we cannot cultivate a sincere sense or desire for our own happiness, it becomes very difficult to truly wish for the happiness of others. So in order to cultivate this sensation, this desire, tell yourself, may I find true happiness. Reminding yourself that true happiness is something that comes from within. So this is not at all a selfish desire. In fact, if we find and develop the resources for happiness within ourselves, we are able to radiate it out to other people. It's a happiness that doesn't depend on taking anything away from anyone else. And then begin, once you've found this goodwill for yourself, for your own happiness, when you can really feel it to your core, to your center of your being, begin to spread this goodwill to other people. So goodwill, a little bit like jam. You can't spread even a little without getting some on yourself. So first of all, spreading this goodwill to people who are close to your heart. So this might be your family, your parents, your very close friends. And then may they find true happiness as well. Then spreading those thoughts out in ever widening, broadening circles. People you know well, people you don't know so well, people you like, people you know but might be neutral about. and even people you don't like. Don't let there be any limitations on your goodwill. For any limitations in your goodwill equal limitations in your mind, and we want the mind to be limitless. Spreading thoughts of goodwill to people you don't even know. Not even just people, but all living beings of all kinds in all directions, east, west, north, south, above and below, out to infinity. May they find true happiness too. And then bringing your thoughts back to the present. For if we desire true happiness, we have to find it in the present. The past is gone and the future is uncertain. So we need to burrow down into the present. So in order to cultivate this sense of presence, this sense of happiness in the present moment, this inevitable present moment, what do you have right here? You've got this body, sitting here and breathing the joyful breath, and you've got the mind thinking and aware. So bringing all these things together, think about the breath, and then be aware again of the breath as it comes in and goes out. Keeping your thoughts directed to the breath. That's mindfulness. Aware of the breath as it comes in, as it comes out. That's awareness. Keeping those two aspects of the mind together. If you want, you can use a meditative word to strengthen your mindfulness. Thinking bud with the in-breath, meaning awake, and do, meaning out. Buddha. Breathing as comfortably as possible. A very concrete way of learning how to provide for our own happiness. Allow yourself to breathe in a way that's comfortable. Maybe play with the breath a while and experiment to see what kind of breath feels best for the body right now. It might be long breath, short breath, in long, out short, in short, out long. And once you find that rhythm that feels comfortable, stay with it for a while. Savouring the sensation of the breath, breath as life. The smoother the texture of the breath, the better. Think of the breath not simply as the air coming in and out, but as the entire energy flow, or prana, life energy, that courses through the body with each in and out breath. Sensitive to that texture of that energy flow. And you may find that the body changes after a while. One rhythm or texture may feel right, and then something else will feel even more right, even more comfortable. learning how to listen, to respond. What is the body telling you right now? What kind of breath energy does it need? If you feel tense, try to breathe in a way that's relaxing. If you feel tired and lacking in energy and wish for an energizing sensation, then try to energize by breathing in a way that energizes. And if your mind wanders off, observe, but without being a critic. Kindly observing, with a tenderness as if observing an errant child. Gently bring their thoughts, the mind back. If the mind wanders off 10 times, 100 times, bring it back 10 times, 100 times. As soon as the mind has slipped away, as soon as you realize, bring it gently, tenderly back. Breathing comfortably. Quiet mind, here in the present moment. And then when the breath starts to feel comfortable and natural, perhaps you can begin to explore the breath in other areas of the body. If you stay with the comfortable breath in a narrow range, you may find yourself drift into sleep. And if this is not your desire, consciously expand your awareness, perhaps focusing on the navel, locating the navel, that part of the body, in your awareness. Where is it right now? Your body, your navel, in your experience, inside your awareness. How does it feel as you breathe in? How does it feel when you breathe out? Observe it for a couple of breaths, noticing any sense of tension or tightness, either with the in-breath or the out-breath. Without force, without exertion, relax, dissolving tensions away in the sensation of the in-breath, the sensation of the out-breath. And if you'd like, if you wish, you can think of the breath energy coming into the body right there, at the navel, working through any tension or tightness that you might feel. And then maybe you can move your awareness to the right, to the lower right corner of your abdomen, locating that part of the body inside your awareness. Notice how it feels as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Just relax that area. And then gliding with the breath, with the awareness to the left, lower left corner of your abdomen, locating that part of the body inside your awareness. Notice how it feels on the in and the out breath. And relax. And then moving your awareness, gliding on up to your solar plexus, to the middle of the chest, locating these parts inside your awareness. Notice how it feels. And then moving up to the base of the throat. And then to the middle of the head. Being very careful, very mindful with the breath energy in the head. Think of it very gently coming in, not only through the nose but also through the neck, the eyes, the ears, down from the top of the head, in from the back of the neck, very gently working through and loosening up any tension that you may feel around your jaws, the back of your neck, around your eyes, your face. And then gradually moving your awareness, your attention down the back, out the legs, to the tips of the toes, all the way into the spaces between the toes. As before, focusing on a particular part of the body, noticing how it feels with the in, with the out breath, relaxing any sensation of tightness or tension, removing blockages and allowing that breath energy to flow. Freely. Moving on until you've reached the tips of the toes. And then begin again from the back of the neck, shoulders, the arms, the wrists, and out through your fingers. Allowing your attention to return now to any part of the body where it feels most naturally settled and centered. Simply being with your attention here, resting in this naturally settled, centered point of the body. Allowing the range of your awareness to spread out from this point of centeredness, to spread out so it fills the entire body, like the light of a candle in the middle of a room. The candle flame in one spot, but its light fills the entire room. Maintaining that broadened sense of awareness. Keep broadening its range. Thinking whole body, breath in the whole body, from the top of the head down to the toes, in and out, through each and every pore. Broad awareness. Nothing else you have to think about, nowhere else to go, nothing else that needs to be done. Staying with this centered, broadened awareness of the present. And then just returning to this idea of the body and the mind, connection, the mind and the body not separate entities. The gross form of the mind is the body, and the subtle form of the body is the mind. So this practice of asana, pranayama, integrates and harmonizing the two. Both body and mind perfectly as one. Every mental knot released, and its corresponding physical and muscular knot released, and vice versa. And this our yoga is not an ancient myth buried in oblivion. It is the most valuable inheritance in the present, an essential need of today and the culture of tomorrow. Yoga Chitta Vritta Nirodha, ceasing the fluctuations. Rest. And then as you're ready, reminding yourself to come out mindfully, as mindfully as we went in. Slowly start to spread those thoughts of goodwill once more to all the people around you. Reminding yourself, even as we open the eyes, as we return to a comfortable seat from our stretching and our yawning, reminding ourselves that even as we do this, to stay centered with our attention in the body and the breath. And then as we're ready, start to make some small movements. Maybe you begin on the toes, the fingers, ankles, wrists. Maybe we yawn and stretch. Maybe we make fans with the fingers. Yawning, stretching, and then gently giving yourself a hug. Bring those knees in towards the chest gently. Rolling onto your right hand side and pausing for breath. Staying centered in the body, in the breath. And then gently, as you're ready, pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seat, facing this way. Palms to press in front of the heart, we bow the head. In gratitude, sealing in the benefits of our yoga practice. And then palms to press in front of the forehead for loving thoughts, to the heart center for loving intentions, and to the lips for loving communications. Thank you so much for your beautiful move, breathe, relax practice. I cannot wait to see you all again really soon, but I promise to try to be patient. Hope to see some of you as soon as tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a beautiful night's rest. Namaste.